So I first got to know Andy when I joined Houston Endowment in 2009, and I was overseeing the environmental grant-making portfolio. And he quickly became a good friend and mentor to me, and someone I knew I could rely on for advice and wisdom and good counsel.
One of the things that I immediately learned about Andy is his deep knowledge about both surface water and groundwater.
It's hard to think of anyone working in Texas today who's done more for the protection, restoration, and celebration of our waterways.
He's formed these organizations and these associations and these foundations around protecting Texas water resources.
But not for Andy, we wouldn't have the Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation, which is a nonprofit that supports the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department that since inception has contributed over $220 million towards conservation in Texas. Also, but not for Andy, we wouldn't have the landmark Senate Bill 3 from 2007, which established environmental flows for our bays, our rivers, and our estuaries.
He's a resource for Texas and all the communities in Texas. There are a handful of people that Texas needs to be listening to.
During his time at the helm of the Nature Conservancy of Texas and at the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, he led the protection of over 800,000 acres of ecologically valuable lands, and those are lands that nurture our waterways. And then when he was a founding director of the Meadows Center for Water in the Environment, he led groundbreaking research on the restoration of freshwater resources in Texas.
He's educating you not only on the physical aspects of how aquifers recharge and how they're connected with the surface or how the springs work. He is knowledgeable about how the regulations work, the title to water works, and it's a full package of an education of what needs to be done in Texas to preserve and sustain our water resources.
I think back to a time when I visited Andy and Nona at the Hershey Ranch in Stonewall. He shared that this is a place that's restorative to him, where he goes to rest and relax and rejuvenate. I quickly learned that his definition of resting and relaxing is not the same as yours and mine. He spends very long days working on the ranch, tackling invasive species and overseeing controlled burns, seeing defenses and water tanks, fighting incursions of pipelines and power lines, and inviting local school children to come out and enjoy the local environment. It dawned on me one evening that this work is Andy's rest. It is his relaxation. It is his restoration. And really, it's his joy. And this joy shines through everything that Andy does. And really, it's what makes him so effective as being the conservation leader that he is.
I can think of nobody that's more qualified or more deserving than Andy to receive this award. He has done more actionable items, more thought processes as far as resource conservation and sustainability than anybody I know.
I've known Rachel Powers for over 15 years. We've worked on a variety of projects over the years, mostly centered around environmental education to bring the environmental community together for various projects and missions, and also just as a personal friend and thought partner to think through situations that are complex, that have multiple partners.
Rachel connected a lot of people to the environment and I think inspired a lot of people to take action.
I think Rachel has always been a Bayou steward from her times at Harris County Flood Control District, where she was working with the community around our local waterways, to her time at CEC Houston, where she was really working to uplift bayous through environmental education and making sure that the resources were getting to folks by providing folks with up-to-date information about things that are happening on the bayous, including BPA events.
Rachel was the director of the Citizens Environmental Coalition for almost 10 years. And so there are a lot of opportunities to get people excited about and interested in the waterways around Houston, whether that was through the newsletter, Earth Day, film festivals, the summit. I think she really did a great job of connecting the environmental community and getting people really excited about the spaces within it.
She's got a real commitment to bringing up emerging leaders of color, emerging leaders that are maybe not getting voice in the environmental movement, making sure that folks that are working on climate or justice or biodiversity are getting voice through internships, through speaking engagements.
She got me involved with the whole nonprofit world. And now, as the person that's taken over her position after she resigned, I feel like I can credit my entire career and my interest in all of these nonprofit issues to Rachel, really in a direct way. Knowing the breadth of work being done in the nonprofit space is something that I didn't even know how to approach. And it really took a person like Rachel reaching into communities, connecting people to opportunities that connected me, and that I hope connects a whole new generation of people to the Houston environment as well.
I couldn't think of a better person to receive this award than Rachel Powers. There are a lot of people who get credit for many things, and there are a lot of people who are working hard out in our community, and I applaud them. It's the people that are the glue in the environmental community, the people who are working behind the scenes, situating success, connecting people with others, and really having a dedication to uplift and see other people's success as their success. And Rachel is emblematic of that sort of leader.
I think so often environmentalists go kind of unappreciated, and especially for someone that's still doing the work, still involved with the community, it's really important to get that recognition and acknowledgement of a job well done. If nothing else, so that she can continue working towards a greener, more connected, and more sustainable Houston.
Mike didn't start out as an environmentalist. He was in the construction business for years and years. And then he got involved with Buffalo Bayou, and he had some properties along the bayou, and he kind of became an environmentalist by default.
He started with boots on the ground or boots in the bayou and seeing firsthand how many years he had picked up all of that trash and figured out we got to stop it before it gets here.
He is heavily involved with the Clean and Green program. He invented the BioVac. That's a vacuum boat that we use to vacuum up trash in the bayou.
He figured out how to put booms where water comes out so that the debris all collects in one place instead of going all the way down. So the boat goes up there and then it starts vacuuming all of the debris, and then that goes back to the shore and they have to separate the trash from the organic stuff that's in the water. Buffalo Bayou, Galveston Bay, and the Gulf of Mexico would be, I'd say, twice, if not more than twice, filled with litter, beverage containers, trash, any kind of plastic, anything.
He spent personal time and money. He was the grassroots efforts for Texans for Clean Water, and that is a lobbying effort trying to pass a bottle bill to put a nickel or a dime deposit on these plastic bottles that we're just inundated with on the bayou.
He went out in it and he scooped up the trash. He saw for himself the need for keeping beverage containers out of the bayou. He knew that was the only way to prevent the water pollution that he deals with. There's no recycling that's going to catch all that.
He'll never ask you to do something that he's not willing to do. We were targeted by an arson group in 2010, I guess, so Mike would have been around 73 years old probably. And I was out of town, and they burned some of our boats, and we had a power pack that operated one of our conveyor belts to pull trash out of the bayou. All the guys were sitting on top of the bank trying to figure out this, and they had grappling hooks, and Mike found out about it somehow. He comes over, assesses the situation. Instead of telling somebody what to do, he takes his shirt off, puts the rope in his mouth, jumps in the bayou, swims down 12 feet, ties the rope onto the unit, comes back up, and we pull it out. That's Mike Garver.
He is a solution finder. His end goal was to make Buffalo Bayou a beautiful waterway.
He's a super smart guy, attention to detail. He's always thinking about a better way to do things.
I'm excited that Mike is receiving this award because the more attention he can bring to this issue of litter in our waterways, in our ditches, in our streets, the better the state can address it and the more individuals can address it. If you want to help and support Mike Garver, call your legislators and ask them for a 5 or 10 cents deposit on the beverage containers.